Air Force parajumper Tim Wilkins climbed back into the wrecked helicopter. Looking for a way to get more leverage. To free Cliff Warcock's body. To get more leverage to free pilot Cliff Warcock's body. Maybe there was some way he hadn't seen at first. Pull the seat back and get more room and a better angle. But it was hopeless. He climbed back out, kneeling on top of the wreck in the sharing din of automatic weapons fire. He peered down through the open right side door into the rear. He thought that they had accounted for everyone on board. He peered down through the open right side doors into the rear of aircraft. He climbed back out, kneeling on top of the wreck. In the sharing din of automatic weapons fire. He peered down into the rear of the aircraft, kneeling on the top of the wreck in the sharing din of automatic weapon fire. Shattering din of automatic weapon fire. Shattering automatic weapon fire. He peered down through the open right doors into the rear of the aircraft. Kneeling on the top of the wreck in the shattering din of automatic weapons fire, he peered down through the open right side doors into the rear of the aircraft. He thought they had accounted for everyone on board. He knew some of the men had been rescued earlier by the little bird that landed right after the crash, so Wilkinson was looking for sensitive equipment or weapons that would have to be removed or destroyed. PJs are trained to quickly erase the memory banks of any electric equipment with sensitive data. All of the avionic equipment and every piece of gear that hadn't been strapped down had come to rest at the left side of the aircraft, which was now then the bottom, he thought they had accounted for everyone on board. He thought They accounted for everyone on board. In the heap, he noticed a scrap of desert fatigues. In the heap, he noticed a scrap of desert fatigues. He scrap of fatigues. Desert fatigues. Desert fatigues. Oh, he in the heap. In the heap, he noticed. In the heap, he noticed a scrap of desert fatigues. In the heap, he noticed a scrap of desert fatigues. I think there's somebody else in there, he told Surgeon Bob Marby, a Delta medic on the CSAR crew. Wilkinson leaned in further and saw an arm and a flight glove. He crawled down into the wreck, and a finger of the flight glove moved. Wilkinson climbed back into the wreckage and began pulling the debris. Aircraft debris, calling the debris and equipment of the men buried there. It was the second crew chief, the left side gunner, Ray Doty. Part of his seat had gotten slammed and broken off the hinges, but it was still basically intact and in place. When Wilkinson freed Doty's arm from under the pile, the crew chief began shoving things away. He still hadn't spoken and was only half conscious. Part of his seat had gotten slammed and broken off the hinges, but it was basically intact and in place. Part of his seat had gotten slammed and broken off the hinges. Part of his seat had gotten slammed and broken off the hinges, but it was still basically intact and in place. When Wilkinson freed Doty's arm from under the pile, the crew chief began shoving things away. He still hadn't spoken and was only half conscious when Doty's arm from under the pile. The crew began shoving things away. When Wilkinson from the pile, the crew chief began shoving things away. shoving things away. Search and rescue troop. The early Ranger arrivals, the wounded Black Hawk crew, and most of Chalk 2. First Lieutenant Perino, Delta Team, Sergeant Hoss, for Delta Ground Commander, Captain Miller. 3 blocks to target building. Houghton's Delta Team, Captain Steele and most of his Rangers. Marian Road, Wilcox crash site. Wilcox's crash site. Wilkinson leaned in further and saw an arm and a finger glove. He crawled down into the wreck and a finger of the flight glove moved. Wilkinson climbed back into the wreckage and began pulling the debris and equipment off of the men buried there. It was a second cruise ship. The left side gunner, Ray Doherty, part of his seat had gotten slammed and broken off the hinges. It was still basically intact and in place. When Wilkinson freed Doherty's arm from under the pile, the cruise ship began shoving things away. He still hadn't spoken and was only half conscious.